Okay, so here we're at part two of the post, and we're at the worksheet that I've created um, that I think gives a little better breakdown of our situation. Again, same loan terms, $200,000 sales price, 4.875, 30-year fixed rate, that kind of thing. Where I think this does a little better job than the previous one that we have to use is it gives, like, as you can see here, it has the sales price, the down payment of 20%, the mortgage amount, gives you the monthly payment. Plus, it also estimates your, if there were any PMI, it would be here, your mortgage insurance, and also your, it's got a breakdown for your hazard insurance and your taxes, so escrows. So you can get an idea of what the total monthly payment's going to be in a situation. So I think it gives a little better breakdown of the loan terms in general. Additionally, if there were any origination points, discount points, any of that kind of stuff, it's all broken down right here. As in the same form, the bank we charged, our whole thing is $466.95. It's also got the same breakdown of the credit report, the tax processing fee, the appraisal fee, all that good stuff. Then it gives a little better breakdown of the attorney's fees. We got the the attorney's fees broken down at $500. Then it breaks down the lender's title insurance, $900. Now keep in mind the title insurance and the attorney's fees and stuff. This is all an estimate. Until you pick an attorney and I can get in touch with them and find out what their fees are, I don't really know what they're going to charge. But I've been doing this 11 years, and I know that this is probably in the ballpark for this sales price in this type of house and this type of loan amount. But just keep in mind that these figures can change, give or take a couple $100 based on what attorney you pick. Again, down here you got title insurance that you can buy for yourself for $200. That's good stuff. So I would consider buying it. You get the recording fees that the county charges, and that totals up to this 2610 number, and that's really what we call closing costs. Next section, you got this thing called prepaids. First, you have this interest at $21 a day for 10 days. When you pay a mortgage, you're actually paying in arrears. So if we were to close March 21st, your first payment wouldn't be due till May 1st, and that would cover your interest for all of April. But here we closed on March 21st, and you got the money on March 21st, so you have to pay the interest for the rest of the month. So since there's 31 days in March, there's 10 more days, so you got $213. Now moving on, you got hazard insurance premium. That's 1 year of hazard insurance, and again, that's an estimate. I don't know what your hazard insurance is going to cost until you get in touch with an attorney, like an Allstate or a State Farm type, homeowners insurance company, and get a quote from them. But going down beyond here, you always put up, this is where I think this form does a lot better as a breakdown and explaining of things than the other form. It gives a breakdown of what setting up your escrows is. You got 3 months of your hazard insurance at $100, so you got $300. Um, and then you also have 6 months worth of taxes. And the reason you got more taxes is because your tax bill is going to be due at the end of the year, and we have to collect enough money to get to the end of the year. So at the end of the year, when the tax bill comes due, you have enough money in there to pay your tax bill. So that's why they're collecting 6 months, because you're not going to start making payments till 6 months in. So that's kind of why that's there. So all of these items add up to the 2313, and then you bring it all down together, and you're at 4924. Now there's some neat things that this form can do that we haven't included in this example to be a little more concise. Like if there were any, like if you'd put up any earnest money, you could add in like $1,500, and if you look down at that 44.9 number, it'll change. So we can add in your earnest money. That's kind of a nice thing. And then also you can, like, if the seller were paying any closing costs, you could add that in. That kind of stuff. So I in my opinion, I really honestly think this form does a much better job than the one that the state has provided. So when you do a mortgage with me, I'm going to give you the other one because I'm required by law to give it to you, but I'm also going to give you this one and go through it line by line, so you know what you're talking about, and you know what's going on, and we can kind of put this together going forward. And another thing to keep in mind is I'm going to go worst case scenario. I honestly think the attorney's fees will be much less than this 500 and 900 number, but it's just kind of a worst case scenario. So at any rate, that's it. I hope this was helpful. Please leave your comments. I'd love to hear some feedback. Thanks. Have a great day.